Okay, we're back. So I'll continue from where we stopped. So before she came to work with us, she had gone back to her village, her kampung, for a 2 week break. So how did we get her was she was actually a family helper. She was with my in-laws for a good 2 years first. And because of my previous horror story, my helper horror story, that my in-laws decided to hand over their own helper to us. So we already knew her for two years long. She's a very good, quiet, polite helper, and she's very hardworking. So we knew her back then. So before the exchange of transferring her to us, she took her 2 week break to go back to her village. And during that time, her mom planned for her to get married. So 3 men had actually asked for her hand in marriage. So mak dia ada 3 rombongan, okay. So and all 3 rombongan, all 3 tribes, all 3 rombongan that came, she rejected all 3 of them. One of them, a man she described as very persistent, I think didn't take it well. So she told her mother she wasn't ready for marriage, that she wanted to continue her A-level studies, earn more money for her family, and build a better future, which I truly encourage. She thought it was just a small thing, like I've just rejected 3 men, it's fine, because she told me that in her village, when you reach a certain age, 18 or 19, you are supposed to be wed off. But she was the only one left, I think, in her village that has not been wed off. So it screams urgency for her mom to wed her child off. I think a culture that, it's very different from where we are over here. So she told her mom she wasn't ready for marriage. She flew back here. She wanted to continue her A-level studies. She was taking part-time A-levels. So every weekend, she would go and sit for her classes, for her A-level classes, to complete her A-level studies. And I think her attitude is highly commendable, on top of doing housework, earning a family. So I thought, any mother would be proud for her child to actually think of her future. So a month after returning to Singapore, so 2 weeks there, she came home. Everything was as per normal, she's doing work fine. But roughly about a month after returning, strange things began happening to her. I did not feel anything at all in the house, but she started hearing people calling her. She randomly comes into my room and asks, "Ma'am panggil saya ya?" She asked. I said, "No, I did not call you, And it's not one or twice, it's like quite a number of times. So I just brush it off aside, Maybe she was thinking too much or anything. So when after she has been hearing me calling her, which is not true, she then had that fever. That fever was the start of everything. So I thought it was a normal fever, because my youngest also had that fever. Brought both to the clinic. A doctor gave medication, asked her to rest, so I took over. She was sick, so I had to take leave to take care of my 2 children while she recuperates. And then everything went berserk after that. So it just started with that fever, 1 month after that fever, and the breakdown. Now the mediator said something that made my blood run cold. that the possession would not end unless we brought her back home. That means we have to send her back home to her village. Now, if she stayed, because she just got transferred to us, and now we are losing her. So I asked what could have happened, right, if she stayed. And now he said that if she stayed, she would die before the year was over. I was shocked to hear that. I wouldn't want my helper to be in that state. And in my house, knowing that she would lose her life at the end of the year, and if it really did happen, how am I supposed to let the police know if they come and say, oh, actually I knew, and some supernatural thing happened to her, like there's no way out of this, So he said that the possession wouldn't end unless she returned home. Now, if she stayed, they said she would die, right, before the year was over. They believed that one of the men she rejected had sent like something to claim her, like a spirit to claim her, saying she belonged to him. So the mediator did try to remove the thing. It came back, and the mediator said that it was actually very strong. I do not know in what terms it was, but that thing was very strong and very medial, stubborn, and did not want to budge, because he had a condition. She has to return before the end of the year. If not, she would not live. So only when my did ask, what if she stayed for a few months after, or they did try to negotiate. But like I said, it was the girl, stubborn, wouldn't budge. So only when medium we agreed to send her home did that she slowly went back to her normal self. Mediator said that only when we agreed to send her home did she, finally come down. Her face softened, her eyes cleared, you feel at ease, not so tense. It's like her normal self again. And she started crying endlessly, begging not to go back, please don't send me home. But I had no choice. She said, I want to stay, I want to finish my studies. She said through tears, but aku rasa kesian, but we couldn't take the risk, you see. I have 2 other children with me, and what if it comes back suddenly and I'm at work, and my youngest is only 8 months and she decided to just throw that baby out the window, and I would not forgive myself for that. But things had happened this way, and I would overthink of what could have happened, knowing that she can go in and out of herself. So I did not want to take the risk, and it felt like a matter of life and death. So when she packed her things, I saw she left her A-level revision books behind, because that was the life she intended to have, to graduate and all that. She didn't pack that in untouched. My heart actually broke. She had dreams, she had plans, a future, and all of it was taken away one by one. Okay, all of it was taken away by one man's pride. Months later, I already sent her home, everything. Months later, I came across her Facebook page, I saw her wedding photo. She was married to him. I think it was a guy. His face was never clear in the pictures. Either he's looking away or facing the back, But I saw her face very clearly. That's why I knew it was her. She was very different. Yes, she was in makeup. She wasn't smiling. In fact, to me, she felt very robotic. There was no joy. no light. In other words, she just looked very empty, I tried to message her in Facebook, but there was no reply, and her last post was the day she got married, and that was it, I really feel kesian, like so pitiful for her, because this is not what she asked for. It's not something any woman or any girl would have to go through, no. And that's when I realized, rejection doesn't just bruise egos. In the wrong hands, it destroys lives. The extent of what some men do after being rejected, it's horrifying.